My name is Sandy Padala, founder and CEO at Rex Academy, where we make it easy to learn and teach computer science skills. Let's welcome our guest for the day, Greg Campbell, founder, CEO, and board member of many firms in various industries, to Rex Academy's very own podcast, Let's Talk Computer Science. Mr. Campbell earned a Bachelor of Science degree from Cornell University and an MBA from Harvard Business School. He has held senior marketing and management positions with PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, and CPC International. Greg Campbell is president and CEO of Rainmaker, a strategic investment and advisory firm based in Dallas, Texas. He is also managing partner of Medigene, a healthcare-focused venture capital firm. His influence and establishment in the technology and education sectors include his role as founder and CEO of both HBCUsonline.com and his role in creating Whitney International University System, renamed Illumno, in South America, currently serving 300,000 students in multiple degree programs. HBCUsonline.com was an edtech venture that assisted HBCUs in launching online degree programs at scale. We are also proud to have him as a board member for our very own Rex Academy. Greg, tell me your story. What compelled you to help startups and especially edtech and health tech?
Well, growing up as as the son of immigrants into this country, education always had a very, very high priority in our household. So I was always a student initially at first, and then I saw the opportunity of how you could combine business and education together to really further neighborhoods, communities, whole countries. So that's what got me involved with at least my business initiatives in higher education, both in the United States and in South America. It led initially to me working with schools across South America to help address the question of access for those students so that they wouldn't have the challenge that we saw in many places like Colombia, where there were 100,000 students for whom there were no seats, even though they had passed their national exams. And where we could actually create a solution that allows now 300,000 students who otherwise would not have had seats to have the ability to get an education at an affordable price, leveraging technology, and creating what has been a very, very successful business in South America. Then coming into the United States, being able to do the same kinds of things in a couple of different universities here in the United States, but also more importantly, working with, I think it was a total of about 19 historically Black universities that we help them convert to online degree programs so they could expand their offerings and offer more opportunities to students who wanted to attend.
So how long did you live in South America?
Well, I didn't live there, but even though I felt like I lived there for a period of about 3.5 years, beginning in 2004, I was in South America probably anywhere between 12 and 20 days a month, going from country to country, learning an entirely different culture, different ways of doing business, country by country, different laws, different customs. Great food, though. I can't beat the food. And really good wines, particularly down in Argentina. That Malbec is outstanding.
Oh, that's good to know. Never been to South America. So I want to switch gears a little bit. Why do you think US as a country should be focused on tech education starting at grade school levels?
Well, Sandy, there's really no choice in that. We have evolved into a different kind of society. We had a society where people could grow up and go to work in a factory, and that was enough, and they could make a living that way. That way of life has gone away. Today, the projections are that most of the jobs that students coming along that are in K through 12 right now are going to be moving into jobs that are tech related jobs, that you're going to have a good understanding of technology, the STEM subjects, and particularly computer science in order to be able to do just about any job. Back in the day where you could go into even a factory and understand that you would do things by hand, that today are now being done by robots, and you have to know how to program and work with those robots, and that requires technology education. The earlier that we can get our students involved in that technology education, the better it is for them, and the better it is for their long-term career learning. When we try to teach students a different language, we start as early as possible, and that's essentially what we're doing with technology. Start as early as possible so that students' minds get set into this kind of an approach so that they can continually learn it. It's not only what they're learning, it's also how they're learning. Schools are now more technology driven, or should be, and that's the way of the world. That's what we're going to be looking forward towards.
I totally agree with everything you've said. So, what specific technology recommendations or non-technology recommendations would you recommend to enhance learning in the K-12 space?
Well, first of all, it's got to be, it starts with teachers. It starts with the classroom setting. I think one of the things that we have not done a good job on is introducing technology to teachers. We're expecting teachers to be able to just walk in a classroom and be able to teach something that they have not had experience around. So there's a need for the teacher development process so that they can get comfortable with technology, not just from using a computer, but understanding how the technology process works so that they are comfortable around it and not afraid of it. On the flip side, what we have to do is start introducing technology, computer science, and in the form of teaching our regular topics. If you're going to teach history, what's the way that we can use technology to enhance history? If you're going to teach math, how do we use a technology to enhance the teaching of math? If we're teaching science, science is one of the wonderful ways where we can really use computer science to be able to enhance the understanding of biology, chemistry, physics, all the subjects that you're going to have to learn through your K to 12 time period. And imagine what a history class would be like if we could actually experience the voices of those that we're studying, or have senses of maps and be able to see things in real time in our environment without having to just be stuck reading a book. I can remember many a day being just bored by the process of learning in my grammar school and high school days. Let's get around that. Let's leverage the technology to make education exciting again.
Yeah, that would have been really helpful, especially now during COVID. So, why should we as a society act now to enhance tech training in schools? I think you addressed this a little bit.
Yeah, but I want to go back to that.
Mhm.
We're out of time. This is something that we should have been doing 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we are actually behind so many countries across the world that have been introducing technology and STEM into the classroom and really making an emphasis of it. We are behind, and the only way we're going to catch up is to place a greater emphasis on K to 12 technology and STEM learning today, not waiting for another day, but making sure that we bring our teachers along with it, make sure that we develop the curriculum where the teachers and the students can be successful, and that we make sure that the students and the teachers have the right tools. And that's not just putting a computer in the classroom. It's making sure that the computer and the software and the teacher and the student are all working as one.
Yep, totally agree. It's not just about making sure our kids are learning how to use the current technology. It's about how we can teach them so that they can create the next versions of the technology.
Mhm.
I know you have served on many boards. Can you please list the boards that you have served, if you can, all the boards, and
You
what
know,
is
in my lifetime or what I'm serving on now?
uh, uh it's a good question.
Well,
I was
I'll tell you about some of the boards that I'm serving on now. I tend to serve on the boards of companies that, first of all, are of interest to me. I've been privileged to be able to pick and choose what boards I'd like to be on, and I serve on boards that are aligned with my interests. So, of course, I'm on the board of Rex Academy, which you so kindly allowed me to join.
oh,
I'm on the board of Canaries, which is a company that is quantifying diversity, equity, and inclusion, led by Mandy Price, and doing a fantastic job in this environment. I'm on the board of Curus Functional Health. Gregorys has combined multiple disciplines from nutrition to mental therapy to chiropractors into a form to be able to treat patients in a unified manner. I'm on the board of Environex Solutions, which is a company that has the only product in the world that puts out underground peat fires, which have been very, very important in places like the Philippines, in the Ukraine, in Russia, and other places in Southeast United States where peat fires can burn for years. I'm on the board very recently, where I was just elected to the board of Biopharm Pharmaceutical. Um, it's a biopharmaceutical company that has developed a number of new testing methods and pharmaceutical products, biopharmaceutical products that address the issues of fighting infections and other disease. And then I'm also on the board of a company called Casper, which is involved in have developed a product that goes in the HVA systems that kills all kinds of infections. So you'll see their products in airports and hospitals and train stations and soon in airplanes.
yep, and you also serve on many nonprofit boards.
Yes, I serve on a number of nonprofit boards, and fortunately now I've gotten that whittled down to two, I think. I serve on the board of Methodist Health System. I've been on that board now a total of 17 years. I currently chair the planning committee, and I'm a vice chairman of the board. And I am a somewhat new board member to the Communities Foundation of Texas, which is is the largest communities foundation in the North Texas area, and with a set of assets of about $1.2 billion. And I currently serve on the investment committee and on the relationships committee, and bring in other high net worth families who would like to work with Communities Foundation in their donor directed funds.
I know you've served on many others too in the past. Wow. Is there a favorite you have? Not just current, the past entirety. You don't have to say
Oh,
it.
well, no, I don't think I have a specific favorite board. I have boards that I've really enjoyed. I like things that are very early. So I remember my days of serving on the board of Dallas Black Dance Theater when it was a young company, and working with the founder, Miss Williams. Zanetta, the executive director, and seeing all those dancers who came in as young kids just blossom over the years to now it's a national company performing all over the world. It's exciting to see what's happened with that group. I also enjoyed my time as the chair, I guess, two times around as chairman of the Shakespeare Festival, the free Shakespeare Festival that's performed around in the parks throughout North Texas. A great opportunity, and a great way of bringing families together to experience Shakespeare for free outside. Um, just a wonderful way to spend an evening with your family or your friends.
Yep, that sounds a lot of fun. I didn't know, like, I didn't know that you had arts kind of startups too on your list.
Oh, I've done a lot of things in the arts area. I've been on the Dallas Theater Center board. I've been on the zoo board. Um, I think I've missed the opera and the symphony. I think those are the only two that I think I might have missed.
So, what is the final message that you want to send to our community?
If I'm talking to the community and I'm talking about education, if you personally want to see your kids advance, then you have to get behind the effort to um, get them into technology-driven environments where the teachers, the students, um, and the environment is technology-driven so that they can learn. You got to prepare them for what they're going to be facing in the next couple of years, and it's not like how we grew up. We grew up in an environment where you could, or at least I grew up, I'm older. So I grew up in an environment where you could still potentially get a job working into a factory and having a fairly good living. Those days are gone. Today, you're going to have to be able to understand how technology works, even to get the most basic of jobs. And if we're going to prepare our children for that world, they need to start as soon as possible. You start talking about K to 12, what are we doing before K? So I think we have to be aggressive. I think Rex offers a wonderful platform to get our students ready for computer science, ready for coding, because the way of the world is going to be through that pathway. So hopefully, more people will get that message. School administrators will get that message. Parents will get that message, because the faith of our kids is hanging in the balance of properly executing against the immersion of technology in our schools.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much for joining me today for this podcast episode. Thanks a lot.